Hi, my name is Lei, and I'm currently a programming co-op at Digital Extremes, the game studio behind Warframe. I recently posted a vlog of a day in my life as a programming co-op at Digital Extremes, so I'll leave a link to that in the video description down below, because in this video I want to give you some more context and give you a better idea of what my experience has been like as a whole, starting from when I applied to now, as I'm wrapping up the last couple of weeks of my co-op term. Hopefully, this will fill in some of the gaps that are in my vlog, and if you're a student at the University of Waterloo, hopefully this will help you decide whether or not to apply. I'm a part of the AI team, which is not like ChatGPT AI, but game AI, so anything to do with enemies and other NPCs in Warframe. That could be movement, animations, abilities, attacks, pathing, or other interactions, and everything is coded in C++ and Lua. Now I want to tell you about how I got this co-op in the first place. I applied through Waterloo Works, and the hiring process was very simple. It was just a single interview with the programming director, Daryl, and my recruiter. Daryl asked me a few C++ knowledge questions that were mostly covered in CS246, object-oriented programming at the University of Waterloo, and he also asked me some questions about data structures. After that, he asked me a couple of questions about hypothetical game scenarios and how a game should handle it. Lastly, he asked me about one of my projects on my resume, which was Flappy Golf 3D, a game I made in Unity in my spare time that was inspired by a 2D game called Flappy Golf. Now I want to tell you about how my co-op started and how it progressed. So at the start of my co-op, I was assigned a mentor, and I was mostly assigned bug fixing tasks from all sorts of areas such as gameplay, UI, physics, weapons, animations, and even multiplayer. After a few weeks, I asked to shadow some of my coworkers. I shadowed my mentor and a couple other programmers to see what they did, or what their thought process was like, and how they used tools and fixed bugs. Then more recently, about a month or so ago, I started working on the new content for the Whispers in the Wall update releasing next week. Now, what did I like and dislike about my experience at Digital Extremes? I'll start off with what I liked, which was that the work was super fun because I got to play the game while working, and I got to see my changes reflected in the game almost immediately. Similarly, when an update releases, millions of players get to see my work, and one of my friends has over 1,000 hours on the game, so it's super fulfilling that I got to contribute to something that he's so invested in. I also really like the work culture at Digital Extremes because everyone is very friendly and helpful, so if you just reach out, anyone is willing to talk and help you out. But what did I dislike about my experience? One of the things I disliked was that there was a lack of documentation, so it took a while to find things and understand what they did in the code base, but this is negated by the fact that everyone is willing to help, so you can ask whoever coded it or ask any other programmer and they'll tell you and they'll help you out. Another thing I disliked was that there wasn't as much coding as I expected in C++ because there's code lock that occurs a few weeks before the launch of an update, so the code is set and fixed and can't be changed for that duration of time. Also, a lot of the infrastructure already exists, so you just need to make use of them and modify some parameters. So a lot of the work that I do is quite high level and not super technical. The last thing I was disappointed about was that there wasn't as much structure to the co-op as I hoped. I hoped that they would have more activities and help the co-ops interact with each other more, but after a month in, I had to reach out to the other co-ops and organize a meetup myself, which was very fun. We went to a board game cafe, but I hoped there would be more activities for us organized by Digital Extremes. There was orientation, which was essentially a meeting where they presented a slideshow, but we didn't interact there. And the other part of the co-op structure was having a mentor, and that was very nice, having someone who could help me out when I needed and have weekly meetings to check in. So overall, I really enjoyed my experience at Digital Extremes, and I think it was by far my best co-op. But I think that in terms of helping me in my career, it didn't give me that many of the hard technical skills that I need to be a software engineer if I were to pursue software engineering rather than game development. Hey guys, future me here. Just wanted to add a few more points that I missed. So I mentioned earlier that a lot of my work is not very technical because I mostly work in Lewis scripts and data rather than C++, and there's a lot of existing infrastructure and systems that have been built upon for many, many years that I just use or build upon a little bit more. But there are opportunities for more technical work if that's what you're looking for. I could ask the lead AI programmer for more technical work, such as refactoring old systems that need to be more optimized and brought up to more current standards. So if I wanted more software engineering experience and to pursue a career in software engineering, that is a good option rather than just sticking with game dev. One thing I really appreciated about my time as an intern at DE was that I was treated like a full-time programmer and felt like an integral part of the team. I worked with animators, designers, and other programmers to make meaningful contributions to Whispers in the Walls, and not just an intern project with no impact. Sometimes when I was working with someone new, I wondered if they even knew that I was an intern, because I thought that other people would think that interns were not capable of contributing as much and helping as much as full-time employees can. So I felt really appreciated and felt valued at DE. I like that DE is a very flat organization, and the higher-ups are down to earth and really care about the people. They're transparent about things that are going on in the company, just like how they communicate openly with the player base. Rebecca actually knew most of the interns' names, even though we've never met before. So that really goes to show how much they care about the people. Even though I mostly work remotely from home, since I live pretty far from the office like many other employees, I was able to go into the office during my second week of my internship to take a tour and meet some of my team members. The office is super cool because it has Warframe art and statues, and so many people decorate their desks with figurines. There's also free lunch and snacks at the office, which is really nice. And after lunch, every day, we play Super Smash Ultimate, which is super fun. I also wanted to mention a few smaller things. One being how DE has less crunch time than other game studios and game companies because Warframe is updated periodically, and leading up to those updates, there might be a little bit of crunch, but the overtime is paid, and sometimes you get Uber Eats gift cards and Leo time, so time off that compensates for the extra time that you spent. So that's one benefit, which is really nice. And there are also some more random benefits, like there are some random giveaways They enter everyone into a raffle at the company, and they pick a few winners out for prizes like Amazon gift cards or Warframe merch. Like one thing that they gave away recently was a Warframe beanbag chair and Warframe footrests, which were really cool, but I didn't win. But that's okay. And at the start of my term, I also got some welcome merch like a backpack, a couple of pens, some pins, and a hat, which was really cool. I previously mentioned how this internship at DE might not have been the perfect internship if I was going to pursue a career in software engineering, but I also think that you could make it so that it is a very good experience for software engineering because there is so much flexibility and you can really do what you want to do at the company. And if you're into game development and you know you want to go into game development, then I think this internship is amazing for that. If this was my last internship before graduating and I was looking for a full-time job and I knew I wanted to go into game development, then I would pick Digital Extremes in a heartbeat. It was just such a good experience and I'm really happy with how it went. It was really fun and I love the experience overall.